I'm Wandile, and I'm a junior software engineer here at DBD. I'm in the data science team, which is a research-driven internal team. Yeah, so just in passing as well, I've worked with, models and computer vision models specifically, just benchmarking. And I've had to like fine tune an object detection model, which is currently being used internally here at BBD. Yeah, so why am I here today? Well, I'm here to talk about a cool AI tool. And by the way, just in passing as well, like I like the Gert's speech. It was a really, I think my tool is kind of like very similar, but then it goes like a bit of a step further, which is what I'm actually going to get into today. Yeah, so why AI? So basically, during my time here as a junior software engineer at BBD, I've been given the freedom to, research AI, the freedom and the opportunity to research cool AI tools, computer vision models and LLMs, basically. And I'll be completely honest, what fascinates me is how we can basically leverage these tools, basically, which is what Gert actually did, like in the first thing, like where he basically used it to like automate unit tests, which is like a very cool way to like leverage AI. Like that interfacing, how we basically like had like a whole terminal like code that was like, we could see like all the code that was like being generated or something, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, Ada Chat happened to be one of those tools that I'm actually currently using, kind of like using to benchmark. So what's cool about Ada Chat? Ada Chat is a terminal-based interface that acts as a middleman between the underlying LLM and the developer. What I like about it is that I've roughly benchmarked it against GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, and using the same prompts as well. And the responses that I got from Ada Chat were miles better, basically. And why were they like better? In my opinion, it was just like a rough benchmark. And it's really simple. So Ada Chat is a system that has the functionality to add extra context to like an LLM, right? So it basically integrates the files in your local repository, your Git version control system, and your prompts, and the resulting response from the LLM becomes much better because it almost completely understands your prompt based on your local context. And so basically, yeah, let me just continue here with the slides. Yeah, so Ada Chat is open sourced. Yeah, so if you guys want to try it out as well, like it's a really cool tool. Yeah, you can just like go there. I can send the links in the description. I mean, in the chat. Cool. Yeah, and then basically this is the flow of information. So you can see the developer there, Wandile. He writes a prompt on the terminal, and then we can see here that Ada Chat acts as like a middleman between the developer and the LLM. And then it basically just attaches an API key to the prompt, and then gets processed in the LLM, and then the LLM returns generated code, simple. And then now here's the part that's interesting. After the code is generated, the response that's returned, it's within the context of the local repo. So Ada Chat basically understands your local context, and then it returns the response, and then it basically modifies the files in your local repo, and then it commits the changes. And then now what I'm going to do now is just basically demo this tool to you guys, just to like show you guys how cool this tool actually is. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, cool. Sweet. It's just,
do you mind switching to a lighter theme, if you can?
A lighter theme?
Yes, sir.
Is it appearance? Honestly, I don't usually switch my themes, so I don't think I'm.
No, if it's okay. No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically this is the API key that one uses to connect to the external LLM. So I'll just basically copy this and paste it. So like what I'm basically going to build now is just like a simple React scaffolder project. Nothing too complex. But what I really want to like show you guys is like the simple interfacing between the LLM. It's just like this extra layer of code generated by the LLM. Okay, cool. Here's our get to ignore there. And then I'll just, I think, just go to, okay, so here's a nice prompt. Cool. Okay, cool. So basically I created this prompt, after like some trial and error, like after a couple of prompts, and then like this is like a single prompt that I'm going to use to basically create a whole project structure for us. It gets into like the modules I want and our package.json, the runtime environment, the components, the kind of like, the React architecture. Yeah, so this is what I'm basically going to feed it now. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Here is our generated code, and we're just going to say yes, 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 everything. Cool. Yeah, so you can clearly see all the generated code here, and then also it basically saves the files, and then it basically commits them for you to see the git commit, git log there. Then you can see a proper commit message, create basic ranked project structure, and then here are our generated files, the components, pages, services, and utils, like a really simple kind of structure. Okay, so what I'll do now is basically, start like debugging this thing, because obviously, we all know that like, generated code is not perfect, right? So, there's always flaws in this thing. I'm just gonna like install the modules there, and then also just say, okay, cool. Yeah, now it's basically debugging time. Okay, so index.js as well. You can just copy and paste it there. Okay, cool, sweet. Okay, now let's do npm start again. Okay, now let's see our React scaffold application. Yeah, so simple navigation created, about page and contact page there. Click me, just really simple. And so basically, it's not perfect. I had to debug a few things as well. But basically, I think that what I want you guys to kind of understand, and what I wanted to really show you guys is like a cool way to, or like a better way to interface with like any other model, like basically ChatGPT, Cloudy, all the other LLMs, like really good LLMs, but then like an extra, like kind of like a better interface, to interact with LLMs. And so obviously like the pros and cons as well, which is also what Khairni like touched on as well. Basically the security, the privacy with regards to, the code that you guys are working for clients and stuff like that. So that's definitely like an issue. So but then also like back to this tool, like the really cool things about it as well, like the other extra things that I like about it is that you can add, like you don't need to like start from like scratch or something like this, like you can like work from like an existing local repository, add all the context, using this command add, you can like add like a folder, maybe say public or something, add like a whole repo, and then just like prompt it and maybe like shoot a prompt. Okay, show me that you understand this thing, analyze my code and see that it actually understands it, or maybe I think also like with better usage as well, like this tool can be actually, I think it can be useful. Like the more you prompt it, I think the more you can like kind of like understand like how your prompts, how to structure your prompts, I think. So yeah, I think it's a really cool tool. And then also like the extra features that it has, basically, it can do web scraping, what I've actually done to actually test this feature is I've actually given it like a Swagger documentation, like API documentation, and then it could scrape that documentation, create the requests for you, like in this within the local context of the repo, create proper requests, and then you can like, or obviously like debug them and stuff like that, but you know which is like a really cool feature. And then another one as well, you can actually convert image, like images to code, basically, maybe like the images that are given, by the BAs and stuff like that. So you can basically convert them, like add them to the context, there, maybe just say maybe something like home.png, and then you can it can like generate that code within the context of your like local repo, and then you can have like like a nice like homepage that it's that comes from exactly the design of the BA, which is like, I think that's a really cool feature. And then also it's got like a voice to text prompt, you never know, what if maybe you lose your hands, what are you gonna do? You can do the voice to text and prompt it, you don't need to use your fingers to type anymore. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so in closing, similar to myself, I also like actually noticed like the nice questions you guys asked Gert, like today, that like I could tell that most people are like avid GPT users, or like they kind of like most developers, they use ChatGPT. And my question is today, are you content with using ChatGPT alone? Like, is that enough for like just copying and pasting? Is copying and pasting from your code editor to ChatGPT like enough? Is that like a good enough way to like interface with ChatGPT? Either not only offers like a better way to interface with these like external LLMs, not only does it give that, but it also like it understands your local context, right? It understands where you're working from. You can just add whichever files, you know, that you have in your local repo to the context, and then it can basically plug and play. I've been using IDA for maybe like a month or something, and I think like compared to ChatGPT and stuff, like I think it's much better in with regards to like the responses that I get from it, like comparably to ChatGPT, you know. And why? Because it adds that extra layer of context that ChatGPT doesn't do. Although yes, like ChatGPT and the other models, they do have their own like context and stuff like that. But what this tool does is that like it adds like another layer, which makes the responses you get from here even better, you know. Yeah, so that's I think that's it for me today. Yeah, so thank you.